Penning Keener, Stampin' Up! Independent Demonstrator, and the original KeenerINKer. Today we're going to be making a Hello Friend Hummingbird card using a Touch of Ink stamp set. This set is free with a $100 purchase during Sale-A-Bration, which is January and February. We're also using the message dies. This particular die coordinates with a stamp set that has lots of fun phrases in it, and it's a one-piece stamp that you cut everything out at one time. But you can also use lots of phrasing from other stamp sets as well. So we're going to be using the Hello Friend from this set and using this shape here. So lots of different possibilities with this particular one. We're going to be using basic black, basic white, granny apple green cardstock inks. We have StazOn Jet Black, Melon Mambo, So Saffron. And then we're also using reinkers. We have Flirty Flamingo, Garden Green, Granny Apple Green, and Melon Mambo. Sizes of cardstock is 3 3/4 by 5 for our basic white, 4 by 5 1/4 for our basic black, and for our base cardstock is 5 1/2 by 8 1/2, and that's scored at 4 1/4. So I'm going to go ahead and use my bone folder and give that a nice crease. And for the white, I'm going to, I've already used our Stampin' Seal to adhere that to my basic black background. For this particular card, we're going to be doing a baby wipe technique. So this stamp set is fantastic. It's like a 2-step stamp set. So I have my outline and my inside, outline and inside for my two stamps that I'm using. And I want to have multiple colors for my inside. Now I could use a marker and color my stamp and then stamp it, but if I want to do lots of them, I can use reinkers and a baby wipe technique to get a similar effect without a lot of effort. And I like having things easy. So I'm using my So Saffron pad. I'm not using this color for anything on my project other than I need to have an idea of the shape of where I want my colors to go on my stamps. So I'm just going to do the outline ones on both my flower and my hummingbird. I'm going to set those aside. Then what I'm going to do is take my reinkers and I'm going to color in the areas. So this particular flower, you could probably use these as buds, but I want to use these as leaves, and then I have my two flowers. So I want this green and these in my pink tones. With the hummingbird, I kind of like the ruby throated ones that have a kind of a red right around the throat area, maybe a little bit of white, and then some green other areas. And I am going to use this 2 different greens because I can. All right, so here's my leaves. So I'm going to do a little bit of my granny apple there. And then I'm going to kind of start outlining my bird where I want my green to be. And because I've stamped that shape, I have an idea where I want that to be. And it doesn't have to be exact. I'm going to do my Flirty Flamingo. I want just a little bit around the neck area. And then I'm going to do the center areas of my flowers. Now I'm going to do the darker areas. So I kind of want the darker pink, my Melon Mambo, to go around my flowers. Oh, and then I want a little on the hummingbird throat as well. And then for my garden green, I'm going to kind of outline my leaves as well. And it may not pick up all these colors as I'm stamping them, but you can kind of see how you can get that color where you want it to be. All right, so I'm going to set those aside. Now, a baby wipe technique, I can do lots of cards using this. The more I do, the more the colors are going to kind of muddle. If I close this case up and walk away, hours later, it's all going to be kind of one blob color ink, and it will not be able to be used with the individual colors like I have now. But that's the beautiful thing about the baby wipe. You just throw this one away, and you can start again with the reinkers. So I'm going to do my stamping my outlines. So I'm going to start with my hummingbird. I am using the StazOn because this is kind of a water-based ink. I need my StazOn so that my black doesn't bleed into my project. So I'm going to stamp my hummingbird onto a scrap piece of paper, and I am going to be hand cutting this out. Okay, and then I'm also going to do my flower outline. I love these photopolymer stamps because you can see exactly where you are stamping them. So I want to get my flower all the way down to the bottom, and I can do that because I can see right through my stamp. Beautiful. All right, so now I'm going to do my two-step stamping. So I'm going to take my, slide it over here so you can see where my hummingbird is, so I can line up where I'm going to do my thing. And I like kind of tapping it just a little. And again, because it's a photopolymer stamp, I can see where to line him up. And I go ahead and stamp him there. So you can see how I have the other colors showing through. I got my red on the throat, and I have my green, and I have some of that darker green coming through as well. Same thing on my flower. So I'm going to kind of tap it just a little bit. Line it up. Again, because it's a photopolymer, I can see what I'm doing. There you go. All right, so now I'm going to cut my hummingbird out. So I'm going to use my paper snips. These are the absolute best scissors ever because it's very easy to do cutting with these. They have a nice sharp tip. And if you notice here, as I'm cutting, I'm moving my cardstock, not necessarily my hand. When I trim around projects, I like leaving just a little bit of a white space around the outline. But you can cut right on the line. You definitely have the options of doing that. But when you have a little bit of a white space, sometimes you don't have to trim quite as close. I almost have them completely cut out now. Just need to smooth that up right around the beak area. That's done. Let me get this out of the way. All right, to finish mounting my card, I'm going to use my Stamp and Seal to attach the front. All right, and then to do my hummingbird, I'm going to do a wobbler. These are action wobblers, and they're the minis. I did get this on Amazon. It has some sticky on it, so I'm going to peel that off. I have been doing the hard plastic portion on my object, and then the bottom portion, which is a little bit flimsier, onto my card base. All right, so I'm going to position this that when you wobble it, it's actually like it's getting some of the nectar from the flower. All right, and then the Hello Friend, I've already stamped that and die cut it out with my message dies. So I've put a dimensional on the back of that. So I'm going to stick that up here at the top and just add a little bit of bling. These are our basic rhinestones. And I'm going to attach 2 on here, just to give it a little bit of a bling. Here's my finished card. So why do hummingbirds fly north in the spring? Because it's too far to walk. Please check out my website and subscribe to my channel for quick videos on how you can be a KeenerINKer too.